Chances are in this video, I'm going to say Steam Deck dock quite a bit, so get used to that. Thanks to Audible for sponsoring this video. Click the link in the description below to get a free 30-day trial of Audible Unlimited Plus. Chances are that if you own a Steam Deck, you know that there's a variety of ways of playing on the Steam Deck itself. There's also a variety of options when it comes to connecting your Steam Deck either to a monitor or a television or even a portable gaming monitor. When it comes down to it though, the whole choice of which deck dock to go to is really coming down to either budget, functionality, and what features you want to have with that Steam Deck dock. So I went in looking at what the most popular things were. So I looked at iVoler's Steam Deck dock, and I looked at the official Valve Steam Deck dock, and then the JSAUX or the JSAUX. Let me know. I think it's JSAUX. Let me know in the comments below if that's the right way to pronounce it, but I think it's a JSAUX. But when it came down to it, I looked at this from a typical user's perspective. Let's start with the official Steam Deck dock from Valve. When I first got this, I was a little bit concerned because I didn't know whether or not this was going to be strong enough and whether or not it could actually support the Steam Deck because of its size. It was relatively small, so I didn't really know as to whether or not this was going to work well for it given how big the Steam Deck is itself. And I was also really surprised to find that there was an additional AC adapter in the packaging itself, so I could essentially just have an extra one. I really wish that there was an option to just not have this included in the packaging, seeing as how there was already one that was included with the Steam Deck, and I feel like that was enough to kind of get the job done, so to speak. It just, I don't know, it bumped up the price to $90 and it just left a bad taste in my mouth. When it came to the Steam Deck dock itself, there is a rubberized grip that is on the bottom of the Steam Deck dock that makes it a lot more comfortable and a lot more secure when you're putting in the Steam Deck and mounting it and taking it out. You don't have to worry about it moving around because of the weight and kind of shifting things around. It just holds in place, which is nice. What you're going to be getting with the official Valve Steam Deck dock is you're going to be getting 3 USB 3.1 ports. You're going to be getting a gigabit Ethernet port, HDMI 2.0, DisplayPort 1.4, and a USB-C port for power use only. This isn't used for transferring files or anything like that. Some of the things that I do like about this is that you're going to be getting official support from Valve, so there's going to be firmware updates that are coming in. And the first time that I connected my Steam Deck dock to the Steam Deck itself, there was already an update ready to launch. And it feels nice that they're keeping things going and making sure that everything is up to date. And they're also bringing additional features as time progresses and the firmware for the dock itself is being worked on. I do like the fact that it's a clean look. All of the other docks that I tried out had some form of emblem or logo that was pretty much blaring out, letting you know which company you bought this from. But at the end of the day, like, I just want something that's matte, that's quiet, and I can put into my setup without having to worry too much about it standing out and just protruding in comparison to everything else. I do like the fact that the Steam Deck fits really snug in there. I was a little bit concerned because of the size as to whether or not that little tiny bit of plastic could actually hold onto the Steam Deck itself, but it's very form-fitting. One of the things that I don't like about it is because of the fact that it's so form-fitting that you can't really add either a case or a skin of some kind without running into some form of issues. Obviously, that depends on what it is that you go for the protective layer on the Steam Deck itself, but as of right now, my Steam Deck is pretty much as is from purchase. I haven't added any skins or have any cases that I use with my Steam Deck dock, though I have been looking at the kill switch from Dbrand, but I digress. Like I said, an AC adapter doesn't need to be included in the box for this. I think that they would have just been fine by just selling the Steam Deck dock without the actual adapter, since you get one with your Steam Deck as is, but I guess Valve just wanted to sell more and make more money out of it. I don't know, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. If you want official support, that's the option that's there. One of the most popular third-party options that I found for Steam Deck docks was the one from iVoler, and I was very intrigued by this, not only because it could connect to the Steam Deck dock at a reasonable price, but also because I could use this with the Nintendo Switch. Turns out that future models of the Steam Deck dock actually don't support the Nintendo Switch, and my assumption is that that's probably because Nintendo decided to be Nintendo and do their own weird weird USB-C spec that completely and totally contradicted everything that is out there from the industry. One of the first things that I noticed when I took this docking station out of its box was the metal casing around the dock itself. It feels like it can take a beating and that I don't have to worry about it while I'm traveling around. On the backside of the dock, you have an angled USB-C cable with up to 90 watts of power, gigabit Ethernet, an HDMI 2.0 port supporting up to 4K 60 Hz. There's a little power indicator that's next to the power input, which allows for up to 100 watts to be plugged in. And they do recommend that you plug in the official Steam Deck adapter that came with your Steam Deck, which obviously makes sense if they want to avoid any issues like they had with the Nintendo Switch. There's also 3 USB-A 3.0 ports that are on the backside of the dock itself, which allows for connectivity with all sorts of peripherals. The biggest thing about this Steam Deck dock that I really like actually has nothing to do with the dock itself, but its price. It's currently priced at $39.99, which means that it's half or less than half of what you would be paying for a Valve Steam Deck dock. And yeah, you're not going to be getting an official Steam Deck adapter, and you might not be getting official support from Valve for the dock itself and its firmware, but at the end of the day, it does the job. And at less than half the cost, and you already having a Steam Deck with an AC adapter, you don't really need to worry too much about it anyways. So I think that that's definitely a really good thing that's going for it. I like the fact that there is a little lip on the back of the docking area, so you don't have to worry about something tipping over. And to me, it just feels like there's more support there. There's also a rubberized pad that's there to help keep things in place. It just feels like you can put either a tablet or maybe a Steam Deck and not have to worry about it tipping over, slipping, or whatever it may be as you're going. Because of the amount of space that is on the bottom side of the Steam Deck dock here, you don't really have to worry about cases not fitting or having a Steam Deck with either a vinyl case or a vinyl skin that is there. That way things pretty much just fit regardless. That's the main issue that I've seen online with people using their official Steam Deck dock from Valve with their Steam Deck that has either a case or a vinyl skin, because that Steam Deck dock from Valve is very form-fitting. With this, it allows for a little bit of wiggle room, which is a pro and a con in my opinion, because I don't feel like it is super sturdy, but at the end of the day, I haven't had my Steam Deck fall out while I was putting this into the docking station itself. The rubberized pads on the bottom of this docking station also feel really nice. It feels really secure. It's just less than what I saw from Valve's official Steam Deck dock, but at the end of the day, it does the job. It keeps it in place and it doesn't move around the desk whenever you're putting in or taking out the Steam Deck. I don't really like the color of this dock, that metallic look. I wish that it was more of like a matte look. I just wish that there were more options in terms of colors, but that's just my own personal opinion and my own personal taste on aesthetics. I like things that just blend in, and that whenever I need them, I can take them and put them in front and center like my Steam Deck dock. But I also don't like the fact that the iVoler logo is right here. I don't know. I prefer things to not have their logos plastered on everywhere if it is too distracting when it comes to things. But at the end of the day, it does the job, so I don't really have to worry too much about it. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't like the fact that the support for the Nintendo Switch was dropped, but I understand why. One of the things that I don't like about this is the USB-C cable that's there. It feels relatively cheap and inexpensive in comparison to the rest of the docking station, but at the end of the day, it does leave for enough room to plug in to the Steam Deck while having a case or a vinyl skin and not having to worry about it slipping out or whatever it may be while you're gaming. When I took the JSAUX docking station out of its box, it immediately gave me an impression of it just being cheaply made, and that's not to say that it is cheap. It's technically $44.99 online on Amazon right now, which puts it roughly at half the cost of Valve's own Steam Deck. But when it comes down to it, the metal, I don't know, it feels like it's thinner. It feels like it's much lighter, that there's less material that's there, and I feel like if I accidentally drop it at the wrong angle, that it would just break and fall apart. On the backside of the Steam Deck dock, you have a USB-C cable that connects to your Steam Deck itself. Then there's a USB-C power delivery port, HDMI 2.0, 3 USB-A 3.0 ports, and on the side, which is such a weird design choice in my opinion, there is a gigabit Ethernet port. Now, I immediately think that for $44.99, this just doesn't feel as well built as the iVoler one, like I stated, but I still think that it's relatively good for the price. It feels good enough, so to speak. I do like the color of this docking station. I don't like things to be too in your face whenever they're added to setup. I don't want them to stand out too much. I don't like the fact that JSAUX has their logo here. I wish it was either like up top or maybe like in the back or on the side or something like that. I just don't like things to be in your face when it comes to having your logo plastered everywhere. When it comes down to it though, I do like the fact that this is something that is relatively light in comparison to all of the other options. When you're traveling and you have to go ahead and essentially weight manage everything that's happening in your backpack or in your carry-on, you want something that you can take with you and not have to worry about issues with TSA or your airline or whatever it may be. The USB-C cable has a metal housing, which adds a nice feel in terms of aesthetics. I don't know if this does anything towards functionality, but I do like the fact that it's there. The USB input is long enough to have any sort of cases or vinyl skins or whatever it may be. And the same thing goes for the size of the dock itself. When you put in your Steam Deck, you don't have to worry about any sort of compatibility with any third-party protective casings or skins. The backside of this dock is raised, so you don't have to worry too much about things tipping over. And again, even though it's a little bit loose in there when you put in the Steam Deck, you can be rest assured that you don't have to worry about it tipping over while you're gaming on it. I would have to say that the main gripe that I have with this docking station is the fact that the Ethernet port is on the side. I think that that is such a weird design choice. Like, have everything nice and neat behind the docking station so that you can just keep everything and wire manage on the way towards the back or connecting to whatever it may be. It's such an odd choice that to me, it doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever. Also, like I mentioned earlier, I think that the build quality of this is a little less than the iVoler one or the Steam Deck one from Valve, but overall, it still does the job, so you never really have to worry about anything. When comparing all three of these Steam Deck docks, you can obviously tell that there is a size difference in between all of them. The third-party ones are just simply larger, and Valve's Steam Deck dock is smaller and albeit cramped up when it comes to their I/O, but Valve was able to stuff way more into it in the sense that there's an additional output when it comes to video. You have a display port that's there that you can use to plug in your monitor that you already use for gaming as is. The other third-party options that are there only allow for HDMI 2.0. The ports on the back are all relatively the same aside from that, which honestly, if you have something that just uses HDMI, means that you don't really have to worry too much about it. Everything else when it comes to these third-party docks is really relatively up to preference. If there's one that I would recommend out of all of this, it's the official Steam Deck dock from Valve. I just think that having that support there allows for not only a little bit more security, but just being able to have that there and work straight out of the box is nice. If you don't feel like dishing out the $90 for Valve's Steam Deck dock, then you would probably be best off with the iVoler one. I think for the price, it just does everything that all of the other ones do, and the form factor is relatively nice, and there's a lot of versatility when it comes to it. Even so, in comparison to the JSAUX one, I feel like it's a much better build, much better quality, and you're getting the same functionality for less cost. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below which Steam Deck dock that you would go for, and if you have any of these or any other ones that you would recommend. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts of the Steam Deck 5 months later, then click this video over here. And if you want to hear my thoughts of the Steam Deck versus every Nintendo Switch, then click this video over here. Until next time, guys, I will see you on the next one. Peace.